Have you ever met one of those people who just can't be stopped? It's like they're unstoppable.
Yeah, I have.
Me too.
What's their mystique?
Nothing stops these people.
Don't stop.
Welcome to Mission Unstoppable with Coach Frankie Picasso. You're about to meet some of the most amazing people.
Stop. Don't stop.
They've accomplished their goals despite insurmountable odds. They beat adversity, physical hardship, and traumatic events, and emerged triumphantly. They're people just like you and me, and they're winners. Are you unstoppable? Here's Frankie to show you how.
And welcome to Mission Unstoppable Radio. This is our second show of 2017, and I am so excited to introduce you to our guest today. Today, as usual, we're going to go on another mission into the world this time into the world of relationships. And our guides are a couple who admit that they are not a perfect couple, but a couple who work every day at making their marriage a priority. They are the founders of Better One, Better Two Relationship Academy and Empowerment Center, and their mission is to be part of the solution that decreases the divorce rate in the country. To do that, they offer premarital education, marriage and relationship coaching. They engage in writing, speaking, workshops, conferences, and they partner with other organizations. They were voted Master Relationship Coach Expert by Rolling Out Magazine, #1, and Dr. Kendall McKnight has a doctorate in Christian theology, and Myra McKnight is a Master Relationship Coach, and together they do infidelity recovery specialty. And you may have heard Myra on her popular Can We Talk radio show, which airs every Friday, 8 Eastern on Source Nation. So please join me in welcoming the McKnights, and let's get started on our mission for relationship bliss. Hello.
Hello.
Dr. Ken and Myra. Hi.
Hello. How are you? Thank you for having us.
I am so excited to be talking to you today. Now, you guys state on your website that you are Atlanta's and now Florida's best kept secret. So why are you a secret? Everyone needs to know about you.
Well, we're a secret because we have a unique, there's very few, I guess you can say, counselors or relationship coaches that do what we do as a couple. There are plenty of relationship coaches, life coaches that, male or female, that do them individually. But the unique way how we do it, we do it as a couple, and my wife, she's the real talk professional, and I come in with my clinical background and my doctorate in Christian theology, and we fuse all that together, and we have this holistic approach about helping couples better their marriage. We're real practical and relevant information, and it's just a wonderful thing to watch. Doing it, and it's a wonderful thing to be a part of.
Yeah, I'm absolutely sure about that. Now, when you say that you do it together, would I come into a room with my husband or myself and talk to both of you at the same time?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what you do.
Okay, I just want to get that visual image. Okay, so before we go any further, because I do want to talk about, how you do it and all the goodies there, let's talk about your relationship story. How did you meet?
Okay.
Where did you meet?
Okay, I guess I can give you that version. It might be a little bit different, but
okay.
I was looking I was looking on Craigslist one day because I was moving from where I was in the area to live closer downtown, and actually I found this cute little condo that was close to this law firm I was working for at the time, and I left work and I got in my car and went to this condo that I loved, and actually I moved in up over him.
Oh, okay. So he's like an elevator guy? You met him in the elevator walking down the stairs or something?
Well, you know what? He was actually, I thought he was kind of stalking me a little bit because the door was open. He was watching my every move, and he lived in a downstairs condo, and I was upstairs. So he watched me, I watched him. We realized nobody was coming in for him or for me, and then we kind of struck up a conversation. He did.
Right.
He bought me a Starbucks, at about 10 o'clock at night.
8 o'clock.
Oh, yeah, right. It was nighttime, so
Yeah.
I didn't open the door for him, and I told him I'll see him another day. So I still got the Starbucks too. So.
Oh, wow. So you left the Starbucks on the door, and then you just opened it after he left and grabbed your coffee?
Yeah.
I love it.
He's introduced himself at 8 o'clock, he said. I said 10 o'clock at night.
So how long did that take? How long did that take from, move in till he made his move with the coffee?
Yeah. Well, she came back with, we had a conversation, and she came back with, do you know anything about cars? And I was like, oh, my goodness, I'm not really a car guy, but I hope. I said, yeah, so I played it off. I shook it off, and I said, yeah, well, what's your issue? And she said, oh, I just need somebody to check my oil. I said, phew, I can handle that. And so I went and checked her oil and told her she was fine, on her oil. She has enough oil and everything. So after that, she was like, okay, if you want to go to a movie or go out to eat, just let me know. And from there, we started the courtship.
Yeah, but to be real, Frankie, I didn't need him to check my oil because I already had it done.
I know you didn't. I was just going to say, you did not need him to check your oil. That's a classic female move for you guys who don't know.
It was classic. But
men like to solve problems for women, so she gave him an opportunity to do that.
Absolutely.
Well done, Myra. Well done.
Because guys need to know that they're saving you from something.
Exactly.
And today women are always trying to have the persona that they don't need to be saved. But I'm like, if you act like you need to be saved, you can at least get in the door to see what kind of man he is. And so that was my move, is to act like I needed him to save me. But I already have my.
Really say if you want to go for coffee or dinner, then just call me.
Yeah. I just said, okay,
awesome, good for you. That's really great that you let him know that you're interested, that you're willing to go, because it's kind of scary for a guy. I mean, he brought you a coffee once and you kind of left it. So to do that again, it takes guts, right? I mean, this way you let him know that you're interested and he's free to call.
Yeah.
That's nice. So how long have you been together now?
Going on 12 years now.
Yeah, 12
we
years.
have we have a anniversary coming up, March 28th.
Yeah, March 28th. Yep.
Well, I won't be talking to you on air March 28th, so let me wish you guys a blessed anniversary. It's thrilling to see two people who look so happy together, and you do. Like your picture, you just look really, really good together and happy, and it shows from the inside out. It really does.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
So, I mean, you say that you're not, the best, couple. You're not the perfect couple.
Right.
Where aren't you the perfect couple?
Oh, we're not the perfect couple, just like any other couple.
Yeah.
We tell them, we always tell our couples that we are on the same journey that they're on, and we're no different than they are. And the things that they run into, we run into or could potentially run into, we call them landmines. And it's just that we've learned prior to getting together and married how to go around those things.
Gotcha.
And that's what we've learned through life. We might hit those things, but we kind of bounce back in 5 or 10 minutes or so. Never, sitting out, being mad, elevating our voices and things of that nature. So we have the same kind of hiccups. Does he irritate me? Yes, and I'm quite sure I irritate him as well. But we laugh a lot. I think that's pretty much
important.
Different in us. Yeah, we laugh a lot. We laugh at each other.
So what's your biggest pet peeve, Ken? Dr. Ken, what's your biggest pet peeve that Myra does that irks you?
Well, it used to irk me. It doesn't irk me anymore. I've gotten adjusted to her. But I guess the newest one is, and she still does. She it still gets on me. Is she'll get these her drinks, like soda or something like that, in the bottle, and she'll drink half of it and put it in the refrigerator, and then the soda will go flat, and then she throws it out. It irks me when she does that.
Okay, so what would you prefer her to do? Drink the whole thing, or?
Yeah, drink the whole thing, not just half the soda. soda and put it back in the refrigerator and let it go flat, and then you say, I don't want it no more, and then throw it out.
Okay, but what if she couldn't drink the whole thing? Okay, you can think on that for a minute.
She needs to get a smaller portion
smaller
size
bottle.
so she can.
Okay.
Yeah. So instead
That's
of
a solution.
Yeah.
Okay, I can deal with that. Myra, same question.
Oh, well, how many you want?
Well, just one will do.
My biggest pet peeve with him is that he asks me for things before he looks for them. That's the biggest thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
He's real. He'll go in the refrigerator and look for stuff that's right there in front of him, and he'll ask me about it. So what I learned to do, I'll run to the bathroom and shut the door when he's looking for stuff.
You know what? I swear to God that it is a disease that men are refrigerator blind. They
Absolutely.
are. They cannot see things in front of them in the refrigerator. It's crazy.
Right in front of them. Yes. That's my pet peeve with him.
Well, as we
worked
listen
out.
to these pet peeves, there's a bottle of diet soda that's going flat in the fridge, and here's a guy who asks where the stuff is before he opens the door, and as you listen, and everybody has a relationship, and in all of our relationships, that might sound like that's no big deal. And yet these little things that irk us can escalate into something just ginormous.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I tell couples all the time that, there are going to be things that your partner does that you're just going to have to say, well, that's Myra or that's so-and-so. And there's nothing you can change about it. That's just them. And that's when you take those vows, that's why I always say marriage should heal you, because you're saying, when you take those vows, you're saying that I love this person no matter what. They're good, they're bad, their shortcomings, everything about them, I love them. Even the little quirky things that they do, I love them. And that should really heal you, because, we're all not perfect, but there's someone perfect for us. And just to know that person accepts us, for everything about us, that should really heal you. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we're about to go to a commercial break, and when we come back, I want to talk to you about the marriage counseling sessions, the pre-marriage counseling that you offer. I want to talk about that in our next segment, and also about the 5 love languages and how you utilize that in a session. And so we're going to come right back. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Stay close. We will be right back very shortly.
That's right, don't stop listening. Mission Unstoppable with Coach Frankie Picasso will continue right after these messages.
Stop.
LinkedIn. It's a great tool and a great way to do business in today's social media driven world. And Carol McManus is the LinkedIn Lady with the LinkedIn Lady Show. Tuesday and Wednesday afternoons at 4 p.m. Eastern on allbusinessradionetwork.com. The LinkedIn Lady Show is designed to inform, inspire, and educate businesses. Every social media site has a specific demographic, personality, and purpose. And the LinkedIn Lady will interview a variety of guests, such as business owners who can showcase their business and talk about how they use social media, such as Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Google+, Pinterest, and of course, LinkedIn. For more on Carol and the show, check out her website, LinkedInLady.com. As trends change and new applications become available, the LinkedIn Lady Show will bring that information to you in an easy-to-use, fun, and engaging way. Every Tuesday and Wednesday afternoons at 4 p.m. Eastern, it's the LinkedIn Lady Show with Carol McManus on allbusinessradionetwork.com.
It's the Fitness Minute with fitness expert Annette Hammond.
Exercising every day is your goal and the lifestyle that you aspire to. But that does not mean that you have to work out in full force every single day. It's important that you enjoy your activity and look forward to it. If you push yourself too hard, too often, you will deplete your energy reserves and will likely not keep up with your daily exercise. I encourage you, though, to designate some of your exercise sessions as fully engaged workouts, where you are all in and giving it your all. You are upping your effort and pushing yourself to the next level. Workouts like that leave you refreshed and invigorated. Picking up the pace in your workout, whether you are swimming laps, running, biking, or walking, will give you an awesome workout. Being fully engaged in your workout pays back fantastic dividends. For the Fitness Minute, I'm Annette Hammond. Like us on Facebook.
You're listening to Mission Unstoppable Radio. I am your host, Frankie Picasso. My guests today are Dr. Ken and Myra McKnight. They are relationship experts from Atlanta, and they have the Better One, Better Two Relationship Academy and Empowerment Center. So the first half we got to know the McKnights, how they met. We heard their relationship story, and now we're going to talk about what they offer. And I want to start with the pre-marriage counseling. So I want to, either one of you can take this question or both. What is the biggest misconception that folks have about marriage, do you think?
I'll take the, and I'm going to take the honey. The biggest misconception that they have is that their relationship has to be like their grandparents, or has to be like their mom and dad, or someone in their family who's been in a relationship 30, 40, 50 years. And when they come in the door, the thing we tell them, take it, throw it out the window, because we want you to create your own marriage space, your own relationship, not to have it indicative of anybody else's but yours. And that's the biggest misconception that they have, because then the women want the husband to be like dad, and of course the men want the wife to do those things that their mom did. And and today we're in a totally different society, and you know, we have maybe nurses that work 13, 14, 15 hours, and then we have the husbands at home and they're cooking and cleaning. Now, that might be something different for back in the ages, but for today it works for them.
Right. So and how many people would come in, Myra, and say, it's going to make our you know, we're going to be better once we're married. Things are going to get better. Oh, yeah. That marriage is going to heal them.
Yeah, we get that, and we tell them, no, it won't. So we have an assessment tool because we don't want them to be misunderstood about what marriage or committed relationship is. And no, a lot of things, babies don't heal, sex doesn't do it. You know, all those misconceptions they have about what's going to heal their marriage, we kind of bust that bubble, you know. It's better for us to bust the bubble now rather than the bubble to get busted down the line.
Have you ever told a couple not to get married?
Babe?
Yes. Yes,
we have.
Yes, we have. Now, do they listen to us? One didn't, and it came out to be not so good down the road. Yeah, he ended up $300,000 in debt after that. So,
oh my gosh,
he didn't listen.
Wow. Yeah. And so what was the reason? Like, did you just think they weren't a good fit, or somebody was going to get?
Yeah, they needed more time to learn about each other and you know, learn about each other and what the expectations were. And we saw some things that weren't lining up on both sides.
Sure.
And so we told them to wait. And he did. He decided not to wait. And then when they got married, you know, he found a whole can of worms opened up that he had to stick with and try to work through. And finally he couldn't just work through it. And like my wife said, $300,000 and 2 babies later, you know, they're going.
That's a nightmare.
Yeah, it was a nightmare. Well, they either, you have to make sure you have the right agenda when going into a relationship. And you know, you can be, you know, if you're not in love, then you're committed to an agenda. And sometimes, a lot of times, that's why people get together. They're committed to their own personal agenda and not love. And that can become a problem if the other person doesn't recognize the flag that has come up. So it can be pretty, pretty unfortunate.
And, you know, a lot of times when you're in love, though, the red flags aren't as noticeable. Absolutely. Because that love and feeling, right?
Right, absolutely.
Those things, you give them a pass on those things sometimes until that, you know, that blush on that bloom has gone, and then it becomes, oh, how come I didn't see that, or how come somebody didn't tell me that? You know?
Yeah, you're right. So, sometimes people tell you and you don't know, but we talk a lot about boundaries. Yeah. And when you know your boundaries as a single person, then when that flag, the yellow, I tell you, the yellow flag is going to do one thing. It's going to turn yellow. That's going to happen. So a lot of times they just don't have boundaries going in. for themselves to help them stop when they see a flag that comes up.
Yep. So in premarital counseling, how would a session go? Like maybe you can take folks through a session so that they can understand why they might need to come for that before. Some people say, I don't need that. We got a great relationship. We're just going to get married. Why should somebody have premarital counseling?
Yeah. Well, there's so much to relationships. Firstmost is that relationships within itself are complex. And the way we do it is we do an assessment on everybody that comes through our premarital. So it gives you a snapshot or more than a snapshot, an in-depth of what your relationship, what do you have good about your relationship, what do you need to work on in your relationship, and also about your family origin so you can know how that, the two individuals, their family origin and stuff of that nature, and it's very comprehensive in detail. So you need to know kind of where you are, each party is coming from in the relationship. So just knowing that and knowing, what you need to work on as far as communication, conflict resolution skills, partner style and habits, financial management, making sure you're on the same page about those things. You need to kind of talk about those subjects before you get married.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I've always thought that people do a pretty good job at the strategic plan of a marriage or of a relationship, but it's the operational plan. Like, how are you going to act, when you get angry with one another? How are you going to set up your bank accounts when money becomes an issue? How are you going to, discipline a child when one comes along? Those are kinds of things that come up after you're married that cause a lot of grief.
Right. And what we try to do, Frankie, we try to do more educating than the counseling part. We're more so the educators of relationship because nobody ever taught anybody how to be in one. But we first talk about them having to be committed to you can love a person, but then you can go to any divorce court and they're divorced and they say, well, I still love her, I still love him.
Right.
But the problem was you were not committed. Even those that commit infidelity, they love their partner, but they're not committed to the system that you just spoke about, having a system as to how will we handle these particular things. Well, you don't know that until those things have arisen in your relationship. So we try to educate them on the possibilities of what could come up. The assessment does talk about parenting to make sure that you do blend in that parenting phase. And it talks about the boundaries. And so an array of things that might not be happening now because, like you said, Frankie, when we're in love and we're feeling that gooey feeling, he could do no wrong.
Right.
So that's where you are. But you're going to eventually come out of that.
Until he's wrong all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Why did you get to be so stupid? You were smart when I married you. Yeah. That happens.
And you're shocked all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So, we try to educate them that, we all, and sometimes you don't know how you feel if you're not able to assert yourself and know your own self. So you don't know how to tell somebody what makes me feel better if you don't know what makes you feel better. So those things are out there, and it's difficult for them to understand it. But premarital education is something you must do. It's a must for every relationship.
You teach people how to communicate and how to communicate, how to say what it is that they're feeling, and how to tell a partner something that they want. Is that part of your education process?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We do something called the pinch that we kind of made up, and we asked the female to pinch her partner. And, we asked each other, you asked them, did you feel that? And she didn't feel the pinch that she gave him, but he felt. So that helps them to understand that you'll never know how each other feels. So you have to give them the benefit of being the objective, meaning that you're going to, she hurt me, and I can't even tell her how, and she doesn't even understand how much she hurt me because she's the one that pinched him. So we kind of use that to help couples understand that part and make sure they understand that they have to be the objective to each other. So I can't come in and want what I want when Ken and I have a disagreement. I have to come in with the objective that I want to give him what he wants, and he has to come with the same. And then we can compromise in between.
Yeah. And so what about fighting fair? I mean, there's something I like to talk. I don't think a lot of couples fight fair. And especially when it comes to using, calling each other names and saying things, well, I didn't really mean that. Well, you can't take some things back. They stay there for a very long time in the memory. Even if, I might say, I forgive you. It's still there and it still hurt me. Mm-hmm. How do you handle fighting?
Mm-hmm. You there, babe?
Yeah, you go ahead. You can answer that one.
Okay. Fighting, you just said, fighting unfair. Fighting, a lot of couples do that. And the reason they do that is because they're hurting themselves, and that is the only way to get back at the other party is because how they've made them feel. So everybody's fighting unfair. So what we do is just what you were saying, those words hurt. We talk about that in the beginning. Words are very, very powerful. Mm-hmm. And when you say what you say, you have to know that has already stuck on the wall. It is not ever going anywhere. And you're absolutely correct as well. You can say, I forgive you. It's still not going to go anywhere because it's going to come back into the psychic at some point. So the only thing you can do is that's an individual issue that I love Kid enough to know that I would never disrespect or hurt him in word, thought, and deed. And then he has to love me enough to know that he will never do that to me. And that's the part of the commitment that couples have to have in their relationship. That I'm committed enough that I'm not going to do anything or turn any screw in this system to where it's going to cause bad memories, but always try to bring in good memories into the relationship. So that's an individual thing. Yeah.
Because I think people forget that commitment. That's a vow. That's a promise that you have made that seems to be so easily broken today. We're going to go to commercial break probably in less than about 30 seconds maybe. But when we come back, let's talk a little bit about commitment again. I want to talk about the 5 love languages that you use, and let's talk about infidelity because I think that's very important. Very difficult situation. You are infidelity recovery experts. It blows my mind. I think that's really cool. But I think let's talk about it. It's a hard situation to be in for sure. Yeah. I don't know how many couples you see a month or a week that go through that even want to work on it, but I find it very interesting. So don't go anywhere. We're coming right back with Dr. Ken and Myra McKnight.
Coach Frankie Picasso will continue right after these messages.
Stop.
It's words you never heard.
There are more cats in U.S. households than any other pet. Most allurophiles or cat owners know that unlike dogs, taking Kitty for a ride in the car isn't any fun. I mean, you never see a cat hanging its head out the window, enjoying the breeze. Today's domestic cat is descended from a small Mid-Eastern wildcat. A group of kittens is called a Kindle, and a group of adult cats is a clouder. What's the word for those dust balls composed entirely of cat hair? Fluffernuggins. Personally, I like pigs better than either cats or dogs. Dogs are subservient and look up to man. Cats are aloof and look down on man. A pig, however, will look you in the eye and see as equal.
It's words you never heard.
I'm Carolyn Davidson, and you can have fun challenging your words you never heard vocabulary with my free app, Too Funny for Words.
It's the Fitness Minute with fitness expert Annette Hammond.
It's a fact that eating breakfast is extremely important. Many Americans start their day by eating a bagel with cream cheese. They find it satisfying and feel that it's a healthy choice for breakfast. But is that true? Eat This, Not That states that a bagel is shaped like a 0 for a reason. It has almost 500 calories with 8 grams of fat and 634 milligrams of sodium. The majority of the 500 calories come from refined carbohydrates with little redeeming nutrition to justify the price tag. A much better choice would be a low-calorie, multi-grain English muffin with 2 tablespoons of peanut butter for 300 calories. This is satisfying and nutritionally charged. Choose a breakfast that works for you and not against your healthy, light lifestyle. I'm Annette Hammond. Visit our website at AnnetteHammond.com.
And we're back. You're listening to Mission Unstoppable Radio. I'm your host, Frankie Picasso. Today we are visiting with Dr. Ken and Myra McKnight. They're relationship experts, master trainers from Atlanta, Georgia. Now, before we went to break, I said we were going to talk a little bit. We're going to talk about infidelity, but I also wanted to talk to you about the 5 love languages. Can you tell us how you work with that?
Yes. We work with the 5 love languages. What we do is we have our couples each take an assessment that will tell them what their 5 love languages is. And the reason we do that with our couples is because in relationships, couples think that the love that they give their partner is what that partner wants to receive from them. And sometimes they may be totally off.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And so with the love languages, you find out what your partner actually wants to receive from you. So when we do that 5 love language assessment, now you know. I have a lot of men that feel, that, hey, I take care of all the bills, I work, and, that's how I'm showing that I love you. But for the ladies, they need a little bit more. They may need words of affirmation. They may need acts of service, or quality time, not just, you being the man of the house and paying all the bills.
Right. So I did the assessment before I came on, and I need words of affirmation, and I need physical touch. They're almost similar. So what would that say that my mate would need to for me to feel good in my relationship? I need him to tell me good things about me, or I need him to say, gee, I listened to your radio show. It was really wonderful, because you never do. Or something like that. Is that what I need him to say to me?
If your love language is words of affirmation?
Yes.
Yeah. Words of affirmation, basically, positive words of affirmation affirming you, like, letting you know that, you're beautiful, or, I like, the dress you have on today, right. Stuff of that nature.
Right.
So words of affirmation that affirming you as a person.
Right. And also, Frankie, and to come back on that as well, is what I do is to make sure we'll say to them, what does that look like? They're like, I need words of affirmation. Okay, what does words of affirmation look like to you?
Right.
Because however it looks like to Frankie might not be what it looks and feels like to Myra.
Right.
So we're trying to get as much specific as we possibly can with our clients on all of those, whether it's physical touch, acts of service, or whatever. It looks different for everybody. Mm-hmm. So, and that's making that person, talk more and be more, because they'll say, I don't know, well, whatever. But then if he does whatever, you might not like that either. So It's best to be specific, as I want you to wash my car and put some clothes in the dryer for me 3 times a week. Or I want you to just encourage me about my body once a week or something like that. Those are things, especially with men, you really have to tell men what you want.
Yes.
You can't expect them to catch it and get it, because they're always in la-la land trying to figure us out, and they always say they can never do that, which is true.
Right. But women, I think women, have a little responsibility to kind of figure things out too. Like my ex-husband, I would come out and there would be a full gas tank in my car. And for him, that was an act of love, right? That was an act of love. That was, him giving me an act of service or a gift. I'm not sure which. But, and maybe he never said I love you, and maybe he never said any of those things. But, if I took a step back and I looked at the action, I would say, okay, that's an act of love. Like, that shows me that he cares about me, because who does that? Right? If they don't love you. So, at some point, too, I think there is a responsibility to look beyond your need and go, yeah, maybe they are, trying, but they're just not trying in the way I'm listening or feeling.
Right. True. That's so true. That's so true. And it does happen. But sometimes what I find is that when we do that, sometimes we shortcut ourselves because we might say, oh, well, that's how he does it. And,
you're not getting your needs met.
Right. I told you something the other day, and everybody was talking about how, Barack Obama, how he treated Michelle Obama and the awesome things he said. But you have to be careful in that because that's his and hers. And we might see things on the outside and say, oh, I wish he would. No, he can make you feel good, but I have to tell him exactly what I want so I can get exactly what I want. Because he's capable of doing it. He might not do it every day, but if he's capable of doing it every now and then, we're not showing ourselves in any of a deficit. We don't want to shortcut ourselves for what we want.
Well, I mean, and you can look at that and you can say, oh, look how Barack treats Michelle. But he also is away probably 18 hours of the day. She has the majority of the child rearing. She has to do all that stuff by herself. So there's a trade-off, right? Maybe you wouldn't like that either. Yeah. Absolutely.
Exactly what I'm saying. There is a trade-off there. You might not want that like you think you want it. So that's why circle in your DNA of your relationship. That's your safe space. You create that yourself.
Right. So a couple comes to you. They've lost, that love feeling. They're living like roommates, not like spouses. And I'm sure that happens more often than not. And I'm not sure how much time goes by before that happens, but can we save this marriage? Can we get it back? Get back that love?
Yeah. If they want it back, you can. We had a couple.
The two have to want it. Yeah, the two have to want it in order for it to make it work. One party can't just come in and say that, they want this marriage to work. They want to save their marriage. Both parties have to come to the table and put in the work to say, hey, I want to save my marriage.
Right.
Absolutely.
So in average, what would you say, when does that start to happen? After 6 to 8 years, 10 years? Like, when does that, where's the break? Is it the 7-year itch? Is it,
You know what? It's probably right past that 7-year itch. We get couples in that's right past that time, but it's a lot of it is because no one, they've never had the conversation to talk about them. And most couples, what happens is their conversation is about the bills, the house, what needs to be done around the house, the kids, maybe grandkids, the job. But we try to teach our couples, you need to talk about you, nobody else on the planet. I still love you, or I do love you, and how you make me feel. Those things, those affirmations, acts of service, receiving, all that stuff has to be talked about because you kind of get away from that, and you don't you don't get the little buzz on the ear, you don't get the love touch, you don't get that exclusiveness of the world because we've come out of that circle of love, and now the whole world has our energy. And you have to bring that energy back into that tight circle that's closed off, so where you can shut up into the home with nothing else, and it's just the two of you all, and you can enjoy each other's company. And that's what's been lost with a lot of couples. And then they get to the point they don't know how to get back there. Right. Yeah. And they begin to look, like Ken said, you start to feel a certain way, then you begin to look at other things that kind of, the guy in the cubicle next door, or the neighbor, or, the one.
Somebody who's paying you attention.
Absolutely.
So who's actually looking at you and going, oh, you look really nice today. I really like that color lipstick on you. Or
Absolutely. And there you go. You fall into a trap because it's kind of like that rubber band. You can only stretch it back and forth for so long. At some point it pops. But you can come back. We had a couple of 31 years marriage, and they're doing tremendous now. So it can happen, but you both got to want to happen, and you got to be comfortable to know that you're not on the journey on your own. Many couples are on the same journey.
Well, this is a really good segue into infidelity because, I'm not getting what I need from my partner. Maybe I'm getting some affirmations and some, good feelings, that good feeling from somebody in the office or something. Or maybe I'm just a real, dick, and I go out and I screw everything because that's who I am. But help me understand this. Why should someone save their marriage when their partner cheats? Because it seems to me there's so many fish in the sea, and the aggrieved party, the one who's at home, being loyal and faithful, has so much work to do to get over those hard feelings, the loss of trust, it's so much work on that party's part. Why should they? Male or female, why should they bother?
Okay. All right, you can go.
Well, it depends on the individual.
Okay.
What happens is that and that's where we talk about, Frankie, in the beginning, boundaries. And usually in premarital education or premarital counseling, they don't talk about two things. They don't talk about infidelity. What if he cheats? What if you cheat? They don't talk about domestic violence, but because everybody is in such a euphoric kind of state. But these are two things that you must bring to the table. You have to talk about it. Not that he's done it, not that you've done it, but you need to make sure he understands how you feel about it and vice versa. That's important. And now your question is, why should someone do that? Well, it depends on how you feel. In some cases, I've had women where, he's cheated on her many times, sometimes the whole marriage prior to the relationship, 14, 15 years.
Wow.
And then I've had some where he's done it one time and she's gone.
Right.
So it depends on that person. That's where we talk about boundaries, and that's where I say the man, the woman has to know in the beginning and have to be able to relay that. One time you're out, buddy. One time you're out, lady. This is not going to happen. So it's kind of difficult to give a concrete answer with that because many women have a lot of reasons, particularly women, because of the kids, because of the business, because of the household, because of how it looks, because, he's a doctor, because, she's this, and I don't want people to see. So then what happens? You suffer more.
Yeah. We're going to go to a commercial break again. I cannot believe it. This is happening again. I want to explore infidelity a little bit more. And I want to hear from Dr. Ken from the male perspective about infidelity, and not just why people do it, because we know why people do it, but the recovery aspect of that. Like I really do feel that it must be difficult. Trust is earned, and trust lost is very difficult to earn back. And if you're listening out there, give us a call, 903-787-5887. Give us a call if you're listening, and if you've had this happen to you, let's hear from you. Anyway, I think it's an exciting topic because it's hard, it's difficult, it's unstoppable. If you want to be unstoppable, there's a way to do it. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
All right.
Stop.
That's right. Don't stop listening. Mission Unstoppable with Coach Frankie Picasso will continue right after these messages.
Stop.
It's words you never heard.
Whenever we hear a recording of our own voice, it always sounds different than we think. This is because the bones in our skull create a resonance from within that makes our voice sound deeper to us. But our recorded voice is how others hear us. I'm sure I'm not the first person who has uttered the words, "I really don't sound like that." Do I? Margaret Thatcher famously underwent vocal training to lower her voice and make her sound more statesmanlike. Recently, British Airways polled Americans and Britons to see who they believed had the sexiest voices. Morgan Freeman was voted #1. If a judge loves the sound of his own voice, expect a long sentence. What's a word for a person who loves to hear the sound of their own voice? A philodox.
It's words you never heard.
I'm Carolyn Davidson, and you can have fun challenging your words you never heard vocabulary with my free app, Too Funny for Words.
Reaching out from the heartland of the United States with quality programming, this is TogiNet Radio.
Congratulations on being the proud owner of an adorable, soft, cuddly, sweet-smelling, smiling, cooing, hungry, tired, gassy, screaming little bundle of joy. So now what? Where's the owner's manual for this thing? Where are my instructions? Right here. It's Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet.com. Infant care specialist Blythe Lipman has worked with babies for over 20 years and works extensively with new parents, providing workshops, in-home visits, tips, and daily phone calls to ease those frazzled nerves. With Baby and Toddler Instructions, you can get the advice you need on how to survive and enjoy your baby's first year. For more information on Blythe and how she can help you, go to babyinstructions.com. From 32 ways to stop a baby from crying to 14 ways to get a baby to eat and so much more. It's Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet.com.
All right. Well, we're at the last bit of our show. You are listening to Mission Unstoppable Radio. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are with Dr. Ken and Myra McKnight, the relationship experts, and we are just starting to talk about infidelity. If it's happened to you, let us know. If did you recover from it? Did you leave your spouse? What happened to you? That's kind of what I want to know. Now, there are people who say that, for the sake of the kids, we're gonna pull it back in together. I'm one of those people who don't believe in doing things for the sake of the kids. In respect to living in a war zone or having peace. You know what I'm saying? Like, is it good to have two parents if both of them are fighting, or is it better to have one parent when things are nice and, you can come home and be relaxed in that atmosphere? Because home is your safe place. What do you say to that, Dr. Ken? Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, this is where Myra debunks my clinical background.
Okay.
She's like, I'm not buying it. The reason where it comes in with the kids is that before I started out working in relationships, I worked with kids in a residential treatment center.
Right.
And a lot of those kids were starting to act out the repercussions of divorce for kids. They take it a different way, and they start acting out, and that's when youth started becoming part of gangs and stuff of that nature, and reaching out, right, and just become very rebellious when their parents go through a divorce. So the sake of where that phrase will stay together for the sake of the kids, because that's been passed down because of the repercussions of what can happen to your children if you go through a divorce. Now,
how about? Okay, let me stop you. Let me just ask you this then. So, but what about the learned relationship patterns and behavior that children learn from being in a relationship with a parent that is being abusive, or should they they're learning this behavior now because this is how men act, or this is how women act in a relationship?
Well, yeah. So the key to this is if the parents realize, or the family realize, that the parents are combative or they're abusive to one another, and this is going to be passed down to the children, then somebody has to step up in the family and say, hey, you guys can't be in denial anymore. You got to seek to get help. Because like you said, that behavior can be passed down to the children, and then the children will when they become adults, and when the parents stay together and they stay in that abusive relationship like that, what happens, in a situation like that, the children will follow that model and attract themselves to someone that just like that.
Right. Now, Myra, I know, I wrote a book on relationship with, for women, and women who keep choosing the wrong man. And they say, why do they keep choosing the same kind of guy? And for me, it's because it feels like home. So when you choose an abusive partner, that feels like when daddy hit mommy. That feels like home, good or bad. Yeah. That's what I'm used to. Right?
Yes.
And so we need to break them away from that pattern.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. A lot of women accept that, and I think men will challenge you. And Ken always says a man will do what you allow him to do. Mm-hmm. And women, you have to get out of that victim mentality. And you said it.
Sure.
It feels like home. They're still the victim. They're still, feeling like, woe is me, and this happened to me, as opposed to standing up for it. And I know a lot of women might say, well, I had to do it. They do it for religious reasons or for their children, or nobody ever got divorced. But then you're actually not thinking about you. You're actually not loving yourself enough, because men thrive on confidence, and men thrive on love, of you loving yourself. And a lot of times these women don't love themselves enough. And I meet them all the time, no matter what their profession is or how high they are up. That woman has to love that woman within inside of her for not to allow those things to happen to her. And recreating the same unhealthy choices over and over again, that's a problem that she is going to have to herself deal with and come to grips with.
Ken, why do men love themselves more than women love themselves?
Why do men love themselves?
Like a guy, like women have body issues, and we go, "Oh, I hate myself. I'm so fat. I hate myself." And a guy, who's a little overweight or whatever, he'll be going, "Damn, I look good." They don't have that same they don't have that. Why is that?
Right.
Well, I guess it's the male ego that we are. The alpha male, that, we are partakers or providers, and that we're
just
king of the jungle.
Yeah, they feel that way.
Yeah. We feel, there's no, we have different standards, I guess, for men and women is what is attractive and what is not attractive, and so we get away with a lot. We get away with, we have a little belly fat. That's okay. And that the same standard for a woman, and you say, oh, you're out of shape, or something like that. So it's the double standard there. So.
It is.
There is a double standard there for sure. So when you said to Myra, when you say men will get away with whatever a woman will let him. How should a woman stop her guy from doing what she doesn't want him to do? Is she standing there with the frying pan, going to hit him over the head? You go out there, man, and you're getting hit over the head? What's the appropriate way? What is the appropriate
you have to be firm of what you want and what you don't want in your relationship. Right. You have to be firm. I mean, when we met, in the beginning, Myra was very firm with me about what she wanted and what she did not want in a relationship. And, and I revealed to her that, hey, early on I had some shortcomings in relationships. And she that didn't scare her, but she was like, look, just let me know. She always will say that, just let me know if that's something that if you wanted to be with someone else, she would always say, just let me know.
Right.
Because she was not going to put up with that type of drama in her relationship. So she was very firm in letting me know what she wanted and what she did not want in a relationship.
But, Frankie, I was nice, though.
Oh, yeah. No, I expect you to be nice.
I wasn't, I wasn't belligerent or anything like that. I was, I just, I choose not to be involved in a situation like that. And I'm okay if you don't want that, or if that's what you want, I'm okay. Because I was willing to walk if that was something he wanted to partake in. That just wasn't me.
No.
Right. And but the further along the relationship goes, the more difficult it is just to walk. In some respects, right? I've always said, women should never stay with a guy for money. That just drives me insane because I always think that, you can make your own money. Money will come back to you. You don't need to stay with somebody for money. Money is like the worst reason to stay with somebody.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because it keeps you trapped.
Absolutely. There's a couple of reasons a woman should not stay within a man. And even before she get married, there's about 5 or 7 different things that she needs to have before she even decides to get into a relationship and committed relationship with a man. And that gives her more leverage. And, women that come in a relationship with no leverage, men know that. And they're going to prey upon that. And if you come in a relationship and you're telling your whole life story, oh, he beat me and he made me cry and he hurt my feelings, well, you better bet that man's going to do the same because you've already told him that you allow these things to happen. And you're still fiending from it. And it's still, you're still the victim of it. So then you become a repeat victim.
I want to make sure that we get this information out before the end of the show. Myra, you have a new book coming out this spring. It's called You Deserve More Than a Day, about helping women understand the day and the tears of the next day and how to prepare for it. What is that about?
Well, it's about helping women understand that you can spend $20,000, $30,000 on that one day, but after that one,
gotcha.
You got,
yeah,
and it's
like that. I like that.
A lot more.
yeah, that's crazy. That drives me insane, really. Okay, and let's find out where we can reach the both of you because I'm sure people listening are going to want to reach out to you too because I think these guys are amazingly, and they're so smart. They know all about relationships, and they're going to help fix mine So where do they find you?
Yes, you can reach us at premaritalcounselingatlanta.com, or you can call us at 1-888-541-9118.
Right. And our Facebook is Better One, Better Two, as well as our Twitter, Better One, Better Two.
I like that. And I just wanted to say, Ken, like you have a Doctor of Divinity. You bring God into, I mean, we haven't today, really, but do you bring God into these relationships, like into your coaching and counseling?
Yeah, one of the things that I emphasize on, because we have clients that have different religious backgrounds besides Christianity. So what we do is emphasize that to bring God in your situation that does not offend anybody's religion is through prayer.
Right.
So that's universal, and we encourage all our couples to pray individually for their spouse and to also pray together as a couple as often as they can.
And as an individual. But that we use it as a foundation, not as a class, or we don't use it as a religion, but as a foundation for everybody.
Right.
Right. No, I understand that. That's great. Is there anything that we haven't talked about that you want to make sure couples know or single people know about relationships?
Sure. I wanted to touch on one of the myths that you talked about with young premarital couples. There's no such thing as a conflict-free relationship. A lot of couples feel that the young couples feel coming in that if they have conflicts, then their relationships, going in the wrong direction. No, that's not true. A healthy relationship is being able to have conflicts in your relationship, but being able to resolve those conflicts and move forward in a relationship. That's a healthy relationship. That's a barometer to say, hey, I have a healthy relationship.
Right.
Like somebody just told me, we've only got maybe a minute or whatever, but I was told the other day that, my ex had said to my daughter, he goes, yeah, we've never fought. And I'm like, yeah, we never used to fight either until we did.
Yeah.
It's coming, right?
True.
It's coming at some point. True. Like you said, it's healthy. It's healthy to do that. We've just got the one more minute, and I just first let me just thank both of you, Ken and Myra, for coming on the show today. Better One, Better Two. Certainly, life is a lot easier as a twosome than as a onesome, and if you can keep those relationships healthy, and they'll have conflict, but conflict, within reason, and fighting fairly, and just choosing to commit and understanding that your commitment is a promise that you'll have better relationships. And anyway, we're out of time. Thank you both so very much. Thank you, Ben, for producing the show today, and thank you, listeners, for tuning in each and every week. We do love you. I love you. Thanks so much. Take care, everybody.
All right, take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Stop.
When the chips were down, they didn't stop. Stories of people who, when the odds were against them, turned defeat into victory. You've been listening to Mission Unstoppable with Coach Frankie Picasso. See you next time, and always remember...
Don't stop.